think that there's a time in our lives when we all were, just teachers, preachers, coaches, leaders, TV, movie, right? Those things kind of fed into our programming of who we are. And we didn't develop a skill of navigating the sets of beliefs or the things we saw coming in. We just took it all in and randomly created this identity we live from. And if your
Do you
identity,
think people created it on purpose, or does
No.
it happen accidentally?
I think it happens accidentally in the beginning. And sometimes it's guided by the people who were like your mom, your dad, those who were in the household. They tell you what things are. Like, it took me a lot of years to reframe how I saw the identity I had around money or around acceptance or around love, right? And it's mostly because it was programmed from different places, accidentally, haphazardly. Whereas there is a skill to going, I don't like how I function or think or show up in this manner. I want it to be different, and it's okay. Doesn't mean you're bad, it just means that this part of you want to improve. So it does have to be some kind of skill you develop of going, so how do I forego the thoughts of what if I get cast out from my tribe or whatever and go, I want to be better here. And you actually lean in and do certain things that develop that identity over time. So whether it's, I want to be able to communicate better. I used to be a football player and own a gym. I wasn't a speaker, right? I didn't talk but I developed that identity. At first I was like, I don't know if I can do it. Now I go, no, I'm damn good at this, right? So
will you give people a 30-second primer on your background? Because if people haven't watched the first interview that you and I did together where we covered in detail your background, I think it'd be great for them to understand. You, maybe more than most humans, understand how a frame can be given to you, it becomes your identity, but you don't even realize that it was a choice. It just sort of happened.
Yeah, it just sort of happens, man. Like we said, accidental. So I was given away into a foster care system in California. It was really bad. Statistically, if you go to any prison in America, 75% of the inmates are former foster kids.
That is startling.
It is crazy. Half the homeless population spends time in foster care. I think 1% of us graduated from college. So I was put into a world without my own doing that was not set up to do well for me. After about 5 or 6 kind of crazy foster homes, landed in my current home, the only black person in an all-white, very poor family. Grew up with this framing of, I don't matter, we don't have money, I'm not loved, be quiet, Anthony, don't talk, right? These different aspects of what created me, and then progressed through that. Somehow didn't, become a statistic, man, and then was able to eventually get a college scholarship.
First thought you were a bad athlete, then
Yeah,
realized you could get better.
I was a horrible athlete. Yeah, I was 15 years old, I sucked, man. That's one of those first skills. That's probably one of the biggest moments for me was there. Is at 15 years old, I was like, I'd done football for 2 years, wasn't very good at it. And I was like, I'm just not gonna be good at it. Chalked it up. And something triggered me in some statement by a girl in a classroom. And next thing I know, I'm in this realm of like, I want to be that good football player. I want to be great at it. So I leaned back in, did a whole bunch of things that were not in my current character. Didn't feel like it was me. It's that feeling of like you're in somebody else's skin. Like, oh, I don't do this. People made fun of me, all that. But then on the back end of doing some interesting work, I came to this moment where I was like, no, this is who I am now. I have earned the right to say that this is me. I tell people.
How did you fight through when people were making fun of you? Hey, Butterfingers, you don't know how to catch a football. This is the guy that ends up, 7 years later being in the NFL?
NFL, yeah.
So how do you keep training that hard when the world is telling you, both through the fact that you can't catch a fucking football and that the people that you respect are telling you that you can't catch a football? How do you believe in yourself enough to go, I can get better at this?
I didn't believe in myself. I think there's that thought that like you have this initial belief when you set out, and I didn't. I just believed the fact that if I did nothing, nothing would get better. That was really what it was. Because the life I've been living up to that point, where a lot of us are, we're in the same kind of flow of life doing our thing, and we go, well, if I just keep doing more of this, it might change. And I'm glad that at 15, I was like, if I don't do anything different, nothing different is coming for me. And so it was this belief, not in my ability, but my belief that if I did this, I could get better. I didn't understand how much better. That was something I came to find over time. But I think there was moments, I'd go out into the weight room and kids make fun of me. I'd drop a football, kids make fun of me. But it was this thing where I wasn't trying to identify at that moment with the guy just yet, because I wasn't. I had that imposter syndrome kind of conversation. But I did want to identify as the guy that did the work. That was the separation. I'm going to do the work. I don't care if it turns into something or not. I just know that if I don't get any closer to my goal. So I just kept showing up and doing that work. And even though they made fun of me, I was like, yeah, I may not be as strong as you, but I'm stronger than I was a month ago, than a week ago. So that little mentality of like putting these little deposits in day after day, that started creating outcomes that was faster. I was stronger. So now I'm seeing the progress. And then I started getting a little bit of addiction to that, like, ooh, like this feels good, look in the mirror and see a little bit of abs. I got some chest striations on my muscles, a little bit faster. I'm catching the football better. And now what happened is I'm creating proof for myself that I can be better. And that just progressed on for years.